You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Well, it took this. It took an undefeated Power 5 conference champion being left out. It took this for all of you to finally understand or be willing to understand the thing that I have yelled about here for years. Oh, I'm not going to sit here today and yell about Florida State getting screwed and how sad it is, as if this were a one-off or a new thing. I'm going to sit here, and I'm not going to victory lap either, because I'm not going to revel in Florida State's misery. Because but by the grace of God, there go I. You realize that could have been any one of our teams. But it took this to get everybody on board now, and if you are not on board with a playoff expansion, you are stupid. I have no other word for you. That's rude. That's crass. You may not like it. I don't care. You are stupid. With respect to being a fan of college football, if today you cannot understand the necessity of a college football playoff being expanded, you are stupid. Christ almighty, help me. I have said this phrase for as long as I have been on air. And a lot of you crap on me for it. Because a lot of you guzzle the Kool-Aid about college football's sacred regular season. And every game matters. And every week's a playoff. And I've told you for as long as I've been fortunate enough to sit in this chair that college football actually has the most meaningless regular season. Because for as long as sports have been contested, I'm talking go back to the Colosseum in Rome. Go back to ancient Greece, the first ever Olympics, when dudes were wrestling around naked. Go back to the beginning of time. For as long as sports have existed, there has never, ever, ever, ever been a sport where you could win every single game you play and not even have a chance to win a championship. That is until college football came along. What an absolute travesty. Hey, you want to know why? Now you know why. On that first Tuesday of November, when all the college football rankings showed, the first rankings come out, and I blow a gasket every year, and people are asking, hey, how do you think the rankings are going to be? And I tell you, I don't care. Why? Because that group of goofballs sitting in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas are going to do whatever the hell they want to do anyway. So all the wailing and gnashing of teeth about all these playoff rankings over the last month, what has it led you to? It led you to what happened on Sunday. The opinions of those minions, those self-important dorks in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas, which I'm sure is lovely, by the way, mattered more than games played on the field. Oh, and I've heard you. I've heard you. Matt, you can't tell me that Florida State is one of the best 4 teams in the country. Sure I can. They won every game they played. Not only did they win every game they played, they scheduled not one but 2 SEC games in the non-conference away from their building. Won them both. One of them at Florida with a backup quarterback. And then with a third quarterback, they win the ACC championship game. Oh, you want to talk eye test? Let's talk about the team that got in. And this isn't an anti-Alabama sentiment, by the way. I don't care if it was Alabama. I said the same thing in 2016 with Penn State. Penn State won the Big Ten. They had a head-to-head win over Ohio State, but they lost an early non-conference game to Pitt and got left out. Ohio State should have been left out. Penn State should have been in. So this isn't an anti-Alabama sentiment. This is a college football's postseason is a joke sentiment. And you're all seeing it now. You want to talk about eye test? I saw Alabama back in September lose by double digits on its home field to Texas. Oh, but Matt, that was September. I also saw Alabama in September go to South Florida and eke past the Bulls 17-3. Oh, but Matt, that was September. I saw in October Alabama on its home field squeak past a miserable Arkansas team 24-21, an Arkansas team that finished 1-7 in the SEC. By the way, but Matt, that was October. I saw in November, 2 weeks ago, Alabama have to convert a 4th and 31 to beat an Auburn team that finished 6-6 and the week prior lost by 3 scores on its home field to New Mexico State. Don't you tell me about eye test. This isn't about eye test. This is and has always been about bastardizing college football's postseason, whoring it out for the highest bidder. That's what this is. It's what it's always been. Why do bowls exist? Answer that question. Why do bowl games exist? Do you know? Do you know why bowl games exist from the beginning? Money. It's what it's always been. Old men in ugly jackets parading around, masquerading as nonprofits to be able to line their pockets, and the schools get a kickback. The players get screwed. They get nothing. That's why players don't play in bowl games anymore. They finally realize they have the leverage. Why did the BCS come around? Because they realized they could make more money on a bigger TV contract. Why did we finally expand to 4? Because they realized the dollars got big enough on the TV contract they could make more money. Why are we going to 12? Not because Florida State got screwed, because they realized they found a way they could make more money. It's never been about the most equitable schedule, the best teams, the fairness. It's always been about money. Always. The powers that be that run the sport you and I love are ruining it and have for 150 years. And I feel really bad for Florida State. That's a chance at immortality for those kids. You work your whole life, you bust your ass. You get up, you go to 2-a-days, you work out at 5 a.m., you go and you play every single week and you win every game, but because one player got hurt, a bunch of people in a ballroom are going to completely discredit everything you did this entire season because they think somebody was better. You know what? In 2014, everybody thought Bama was better than Ohio State. Here comes Cardell Jones. They beat Bama, win the national championship a week later. Or 2 weeks later against Oregon. Last year, everybody thought TCU was better than Michigan. Michigan was better than TCU. TCU went and put it on Michigan last year. You want to go back? The 2000 national championship game. The great Florida State team. All they could manage in that game was a safety. Oklahoma beat them 13-2. 2002, Miami, that long win streak. They lose in overtime to Ohio State. Want to talk about win streaks? 2005, USC, 34-game winning streak. They lose to Vince Young in Texas. It's why you play the game. How are we possibly in a world where we are discrediting results on the field? Why did it take this moment for all of you to realize this? College football's regular season is not the most important. College football's regular season is a meaningless sham. Why even bother play the games if a bunch of people in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas are just going to make their own damn mind up anyway? That's where we are with college football. It's where we've always been with college football. And thankfully, next year, we never have to worry about this crap again. Oh, there'll still be those idiots in the ballroom, the self-important jacklegs determining who's going to be positioned where. But if you're undefeated, if you're a conference champion, if you're worthy, you'll at least have an opportunity to tee it up, kick it off, and go try to win a championship on the field instead of in a friggin' hotel ballroom. Want to remind you about this as well. And sometimes you have to be open to hearing a message to really get it. When Mike Leach was the coach at Washington State, his team was in the college football playoff rankings, and he said a lot of this same stuff. Give a listen.
Hurts it as the mind-numbingly short-sighted notion that 4 teams for a playoff, somehow establishes something, and that's a very clever approach. I mean, that's such a brilliant approach. That's why everybody does it that way. Nobody does it that way. I mean, if we were so smart, wouldn't all the other sports say, I know what, let's have a committee, because why not? Because, we're American, we love committees. Let's get us a committee. Well, who should be on the committee? Well, I don't know. This guy's a good guy. Let's have him on the committee. Well, there's people on the committee that don't even have remote associations with football, nor have they at any level other than being a fan. But you know what? Let's have them on a committee. Why not? And then, it'd be fun. We'd go to that resort. We could talk, we could hang out at dinner, and then we'll decide which 4 teams should go. Because you know why? We don't need to solve this on the field, because we're the ones that know. And then, if we're going to do it that way, we should just ask them at the beginning of the season, just go ahead and you guys vote on it, figure out 1, 2, 3, and 4, and why even have the games? To me, that's not a playoff. There's nothing playoff about it. And this is even if we make it. Even if we make it, my thoughts don't change. How can you call it a playoff when there's 4 teams? Conference champions don't even necessarily make the playoffs, because you know why? Because the committee knew better.
Mike Leach. He knew. Now all of you do as well. So much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.